It's that time of year again. It is definitely that time of year again where we get to talk about and rank some of my favorite people, the Wave Race 64 community. I always like to start because I know that some people may watch this and either were hoping for better for themselves, or they might even think that they were ranked higher than they should have been. Usually it's the other way around. People want to see themselves higher up, and I don't blame them. There's a lot that goes into this list, a lot of things that I have to consider. I consider things like matchups head-to-head on courses that I think are maybe more difficult to judge than just like a simple placement. How many benchmark times you have. If it's close, maybe I'll look into the RTA times. I do, of course, consider that. We have Pancakes mentions that it's mostly about improvement for him, and I think that's what it should be for everybody. And just because one player is improving, that's good. But this list is meant to show like the very top right now, and everyone is improving so much that improving alone might not be enough to move up on this list. You're gonna have to maybe do some special things from here on out. So this list was really difficult to put together. I had some help with data collection from the likes of Dr. Fish, who put together a timesheet of everybody's times so that I could see them. He color-coded them so like some top times were colored differently and I could easily recognize them. Put together the total times for me, which of course your total times don't actually make your place because, you know, there's just so many factors that go into this. So I did my best. I definitely did my best, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings with this list. If anything, like I said last time, if you're lower than you think you should have been, just prove it to me and do better next time. And I don't see why you can't move up. Everybody can move up on this list, and people are moving up. So, yes, Modal's right on time for the reveals. I'm keeping this one a little bit more simple this time. I'm not putting the +1, -1 jargon on here. I'll put it on the Discord, so you'll be able to see it there. But this is just like a good visual representation of what the community looked like over the last 6 months. And I would say that even, the stuff obviously before 6 months ago still counts into this list, but relevancy is more important. Current relevancy is more important. At least almost everyone here will be on this list somewhere. Maybe a Gilly Guide is here. What's going on? Alright, so I'm going to use my wireless capabilities on my mouse for this because I need that freedom. Oh, that's nice. Alright. So, I think that we should acknowledge the obvious right off the bat because we have an extra spot in the Legends that is definitely long overdue. Actually, what I'm going to do, too, is put on some Marine Fortress. Just because I always am scared of this player on Marine Fortress. He's always right at my heels. And he's being inducted into the Legends category now. I think we all know that it's definitely earned. He was the former champion of the game back in 2013. He continues to, every year he's gotten world records since then. So, and he's been playing multiple games. I don't know if you guys follow Hayate much on Twitch or in speedrunning in general, but let's name off some of the other games that Hayate is legendary at. You know? How about 1080 snowboarding? You know, how about also Avalanche, Yoshi's Story, Star Fox 64, Wave Race Blue Storm, Wave Race 64, most importantly, to us anyway. Kirby 64, forgot about that, but Hayate is a legend here in Wave Race 64. In 2013, I don't know if most of you guys know this because it wasn't well documented, but Hayate did indeed have every world record, all 24 time trial world records at the same time in the game. He was the Chuck Norris of Wave Race 64. So, pretty interesting, right? And Hayate still plays today. He actually just got a 105.2 on Sunset Bay. So he's definitely insane at Wave Race 64 and has been consistent for so long. So congratulations to Hayate. He's the newest member of the Legends. He joins the likes of Walls, Marla, Dude, and now himself. So, congrats again. We do want to move on to the honorable mentions, and here I'll change up the music a little bit here. Let's go with this music's nice and relaxed, you know. And I think that this tier is, like, all of these guys are very, very close to the next tier. I do need to say that because, and I think that there's one that I'll mention that is closer than the others probably too. But I'll reveal all of tier 2 at once. We'll have Andy Panther, Bert, Kirkinator, and Stone Cold Hard in tier 2 as our honorable mentions. Andy Panther, of course, full time sheet. He PB'd on, was it everything or was it all forward and all reverse courses during the Olympics this year? He continues to just be consistent. When he does come back, he's very, very quick at PBing. I think what I want to see out of Andy Panther is like a focus on like one course at a time, maybe. I don't know. It might not fit his play style. I'll have to ask him. Bert, he came into the community. He's a 1080 player who picked up some Wave Race 64 this year and got a couple of benchmark times right away. So good stuff. I also wanted to put Kirkinator on this list too because he may not have a full time sheet and he may not be getting benchmark times yet, but he has reached standard on all of his submissions so far. And I know that he also got Shindu this season, and you know, when he runs on his stream, he gets a nice chunk of viewers and brings a lot of interest into our community, and he's a good guy to talk to in the Discord too. So Kirkinator on the rise, and then Stone Cold Hard. I gotta say the list is by alphabetical. The tier 2 and the tier 1 HMs will be alphabetical also. But Stone Cold, I really wanted to put him in tier 1 this time. I was doing a lot of comparisons, and he was very close to like all 4 of the of the Tier 1 HMs. Like, I definitely want to congratulate Stone Cold Hard because he's improved quite a bit. He just needs to submit a few more times. I know that he got his 114 on Southern Island this year, which was huge. Amazing. And I'm looking forward to more stuff from Stone Cold, definitely. So that was our Tier 2 HMs. I'm going to do the Tier 1 HMs here at this time. We'll try to time this right. Well, it was late, but anyway. So, Asmoney, Gilly Guide, Koiro Hoshi, and My Pancakes. And I'll talk a bit about each one of these guys too, and I'll kind of mention one of them as the, like, top of the class, like I did with Stone Cold. I think right now Stone Cold Hard is probably the top of the class for the Tier 2 HMs. I think if Bert starts submitting more like he did, he definitely has the potential to take that spot. But I'll say, you know, down the line, we'll talk first about Asmoney. Of course, we got quite a bit of new PBs by him this season. Things like the 103 on Sunny Beach, the 105. I think the 105 on Sunset Bay was from last season, but definitely a lot of good PBs by Asmoney. Of course, one of the guys who I have come over here for the Shibby-thons and stuff like that. Gilly Guide, I definitely, you know, one of our oldest members here of the modern community, I would say. Still holds up a lot of those times. Definitely things like the 109 on Marine Fortress, and a couple of times that are really close to benchmark times on Forward. Gilly Guide was very... I thought Gilly Guide versus Stone Cold Hard was like a really hard one to determine this season. But it looks like Gilly Guide did come out on top on that one. We hope to see some more out of him. I think he only submitted one PB this season, so I'm hoping to see some more. And we're ready for you to come back whenever you're ready, Gilly. Koiro Hoshi, he was inactive over the last season, but he does have times that still hold up. A couple of benchmark times on his timesheet. And then I was thinking about Hoshi. You know, he was ranked in our top 10 pretty consistently, and he probably still could be because he does have a full timesheet. But we do still value like individual huge accomplishment times, and I think that Hoshi might need to come back and drop a couple of big times to come back into the top 10. My Pancakes, man. Pancakes, I've really wanted to put Pancakes in the top 10 this time because he's worked his butt off. He's gotten quite a few benchmark times now. His timesheet is full. And of course he just got a sub 9, or what was it? Let me look at the leaderboard here. Yeah, the 928 on the sub 930. The 928 on Championship Normal. So, I mean, I definitely think that Pancakes is the top of the class for the Tier 1 honorable mentions. He's... it was difficult not to put him in the top 10 here. I think actually him not being in the top 10 is going to light a fire that a lot of us aren't ready for. But yeah, I think, you know, looking at this, Pancakes definitely a top tier player, and I think that this is going to. He's definitely in reach of the top 10, for sure. But good stuff to the tier 1 HMs and pancakes. I mean, as money, Gilly Guide, and Koira Hoshi, and pancakes. Alright, so next. So we are in our top 10, and this, of course, is where it starts to get really difficult. There's obviously tough choices to make in the tiers, but when it comes to number 10 this time, I am giving it to Quick Person. Might not have a full timesheet yet, but the thing about Quick Person is that he comes on, he competes, is top 10 in most of his submissions that he has. So things like 8th place on Sunny Beach Reverse, 10th place on Sunny Beach, 12th place on Drake Lake, 12th place on Sunset Bay, 10th on Marine Fortress, 7th on Port Blue, 7th on Glacier Coast. And you know what the big one is? 3rd on Drake Lake Reverse. Just in case you don't know, his 111.504 on Drake Lake Reverse, that was submitted during the ranking period, and that beats my time on Drake Lake Reverse. So he has also this season joined an elite few of people who have beaten one of my times. So definitely congratulations to Quick. What you need to do, though, Quick, in order to keep your top 10 spot, is you need to fill out your timesheet, because Pancakes is coming for you, and As Money is coming for you. So the next one, actually, what should we do for the song? We'll just do this one here. So in 9th, I am bringing in the Androgene at number 9. He was pretty inactive last season, didn't really submit a whole lot. Did play, of course, in the Olympics, which was huge. Got some good times, like his, let me bring up his sheet here so that I can better compare. I have a lot of tabs open, dang. 103.597 on Sunny Beach. 105.468 on Sunset Bay. So I mean, we're talking like a really high tier player. 111.7 on Drake Lake for sure. And then other things like reverse. Looking at Andro's reverse timesheet, they're all top 10. The worst one's actually 8th. Port Blue Reverse, 117.6. And just overall well-rounded timesheet with a couple of good spikes. Like, I'd say those spikes are like Sunny Beach, Sunset Bay. Even a really solid time on Southern Island with a 114.6. So good job to Andro, for sure. You know, actually, I'm doing the music kind of like on a whim this time, so my bad. So actually, I kind of want to go with this song for this player because, you know, this song is the Dolphin Park song, so it's not like really in the game, and a lot of the work that this player does isn't really in the game, but he's a super mod for our community. He does put down some really solid times. I'm putting Modal at number 8, where he remains from last season. So it's still in a similar spot. Quite a few benchmark times by Modal. He's still a top player in my eyes, for sure. Most of his timesheet is in the top 10. There are a few exceptions. Like, just to call you out a little bit, Modal, like the only ones that you're not top 10 on, looking at this, 11th on Marine Fortress, 13th on Reverse Marine Fortress, 11th on Port Blue, and the Lap. Everything else is top 10. And really good stuff. Actually, I think the main thing that I would want to see from Modal, because he's not PBing frequently, and of course that's a similar situation with myself. I don't PB all that often anymore. But I would pick something and hammer it down, Modal. We're in an area where I think that a lot of players are capable of getting to world record, and you're one of the players who are capable, so that's what I'd like to see, and you can definitely do it. That being said, Modal, you have a really well-rounded timesheet. I mean, there's no, like, really bad times, and there's a lot of really good times. Let's see. Your jetter. Yeah, I think that, you know, those two jetter courses that we mentioned, like Marine Fortress and Port Blue, those ones are kind of picky. You know, you gotta really be ready for something different to perform on those ones. But Modal, I asked him to be super moderator this year, and he graciously accepted, and he's been helping out so much with the moderating team, so happy to have him. This is where the suspense is killing you guys, I know it. Alright, so number 7. This is where my heart starts wrenching. So I'm giving number 7 to Metalhead, who you can make an argument for top 6 or even top 5, of course. But Metalhead came in this year with a vengeance and is just absolutely ripping it up. He was ranked 10th last season and absolutely deserves to go up. I think right now, let me look at Metalhead's timesheet. Alright, so arguably one of the most stunning, like, out of top 5 performances on Forward. Recent performances, like, I think the Sunny Beach might not have counted because it was late, but 103.550. Port Blue 118.3, are you kidding me? Twilight City 124.5, taking 3rd on that level. And then, of course, the lap times, like the Port Blue 25.0. He's almost got the 24. And then my 23 won't be, or my 24 won't be very special after that anymore. Definitely a good performance, and Metalhead also one of the better RTA players in our group. Definitely takes risks in his RTA runs, and he completes them. He and Fish are currently tied in second for all championships with 52-13. What I'd like to see from Metalhead is finishing out the rest of, I guess, what some of us would consider the easier benchmarks. They're not easy, of course, but you know, the ones that are like Southern Island 114, might want to go for that one this season. Glacier Coast 116, try to get that under your belt. That's not a benchmark anymore, but definitely a good one to have. But Metalhead was really impressive all year. And he got me a big bottle of whiskey, too. Oh, the mic stand that I'm using to hold up the camera, I'm going to have to give that back to him pretty soon, too. Good stuff to Metalhead, man. This one really hurt my feelings because I didn't want... I know that Metalhead is really competitive with another guy, and the call was really close. Okay, so the next one might be rather obvious, I think. You know, it's definitely Dr. Fish. He just has come on so strong in the last season. He's gotten 2 world records, actually, which might be one of the bigger difference makers between Metalhead and Fish. You know, I think Metalhead is focusing on levels that are more optimized already, so he's... If Metalhead were to get a record on one of the courses that he's really good at, I think it would be maybe an even bigger accomplishment. But Fish should take 2 world records in a week, only a week apart, and they're both Shibby times that he beat. And then I have played a little bit of Port Blue Reverse, the first one that he got, and admittingly I haven't been able to beat it, at least not right away. Like, it's taking a little bit of time, so he's a solid player and he's put down some really heavy times. Of course, we're looking forward to seeing more from Dr. Fish. Right now, I'm just going to pull up Fish's times page and give it a good look over. One of the better things about Dr. Fish is actually his RTA performance. He's got second on reverse and tied second on all championships. That ties with Metalhead, of course. But his performances on forward, mostly top 10 times. I think the only ones that he doesn't are, it looks like, Sunny Beach, which he still has the benchmark on anyway, Twilight City and Glacier Coast. Those 2 are probably the weaker ones. But of course he's got the 105 on Sunny Beach Reverse, 105.999. He shibbied the 105 for sure. First place on Port Blue Reverse and on Twilight City Reverse, and then third place is on both Glacier Coast Reverse and Southern Island Reverse. So overall, amazing. All the lap times are all in the top 10. The best ones being 5th place is Drake Lake 23.053 and Marine Fortress 21.949. The 21 on Marine Fortress is kind of tough, isn't it? That one's hard to get. Alright, so a good job to Fish, of course, one of our newer moderators too. I think he was new to the position last year. I am actually also talking soon to the other mods about adding another moderator. So good job to Fish. I think, you know, in this next year, what I want to see from Fish would be maybe a even stronger Sunny Beach time. And to break the 51 barrier in all championships. I think that would be super impressive. All right, so in 5th place, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine this player being ranked 5th, but the current era is very competitive. I'm going to be placing Ilu down to 5th place. He does currently hold 3 world records, which are, all 3 of them are really strong, and then he has a really well-rounded timesheet otherwise. Ilu Dude holds the untied world record on Drake Lake, the 110. He's got a 22.8 lap time. He had the world record on Drake Lake reverse until last week. And then also the Sunny Beach Sunset Bay 1 lap. That being said, if all of his times were that strong, he would probably be still a little higher towards the top of this list. But he was inactive all season, and he am I looking at the right one? Yeah. And he's missing times on reverse still. So this is a player who may be at risk of becoming an inactive. I'm not changing the inactive list for this presentation this year because the inactive players, Admiral Smith, Lockwood, and Admiral Smith, Lockwood, and wait, who was the other one? I know was it Analogism? Yeah. All 3 of them, of course, have similar missing times, so Ilu is kind of on the verge of dropping down to inactive. But I'm keeping him on here because he did play in 2018, and some of the things that he got were ridiculous, for sure. But I think I'm using this music because it also sounds like he's done playing. So we need to hopefully get him back, right? For absolute sure. I'm going to use... No, not this again. Here, we'll just use this. Well... So in 4th, this one actually might come as a little bit of a surprise too. Another player who's been kind of inactive, has mostly a full-time sheet, is missing a couple of submissions, but not anything too terrible. I think that Mo going down from 2nd all the way down to 4th is not because he's not an amazing player, but actually just because of the fierce competition that is still in that same tier. Mo is, of course, an amazing player, taking down Ilu on Drake Lake, but a very long period of inactivity is going on right now. Of course, Mo doesn't currently have any RTA times either, but looking at the timesheet, there's no doubting the strength of Mo as a player, with 3rd on Sunny Beach, 5th on Sunset Bay, which was actually 4th until recently, 2nd on Drake Lake, 111.1. Still, no one else has a 111.2 other than Ilu or Mo. 3rd on Marine Fortress, 4th on Port Blue, 5th on Twilight City, 4th on Glacier Coast, 4th on Southern Island, Overall, really good. Yeah. Dr. Fish misses Mo. I do too. I think if Mo were submitting more often and the same tier of quality runs that he was submitting last year, he might still be ranked second. For sure. Mo's good. What I would want to see from Mo in 2019 is really anything, whatever he wants to play. I think the last submission from Mo was that was the 118 420. It was from last season. Yeah. I'm actually excited to have this player back in the top 3 then. Number 3 this season. Drum roll, please. Hayate. And there's no question about Hayate this season. He's like on the comeback rise. He's been ridiculous lately. The 924 in championship normal, it's like he goes away for a while and he comes back to the leaderboard and he's like, oh, some people beat me. Let me actually just pop in the game for 10 minutes and beat everybody back who beat me. That's what Hayate does. He's just so consistent when he comes back to the game. You bring up Hayate's timesheet. He doesn't currently hold any world records, but he has gotten a few this season. He got the Twilight City reverse record. He last season had the Marine Fortress 1-lap record. And then he also, this new season that just started, which I didn't even get to consider, he's getting very close to the Sunset Bay world record also. So I'm really impressed with Hayate as usual. But just to look over his timesheet really quickly, second place is on Marine Fortress, Port Blue, Twilight City, Marine Fortress 1-lap, and third place is on Glacier Coast, Southern Island, Twilight City 1-lap, and Port Blue 1-lap, and of course his former world record on Twilight City reverse is still third place. I think what I would like to see from Hayate is more RTA. Obviously, he's an insane player in championship. If he were to put together a crazy good run in all championships, it'd be scary good. You know, I want to see more on reverse too. Like I want to see him do. I want to see him do Marine Fortress reverse with the settings that we currently use. That's what I want to see. Alright, so I'll give the Drake Lake music again. And this one's probably going to be special for him. I'm putting number 2 as game. Somebody who's really grown in this game and challenged both me and Ilu's records. He currently holds 2 world records. He beat me on Sunny Beach reverse, and he beat Ilu, which of course in turn also beat me on Drake Lake reverse. He currently holds both of those records, and yes, I have tried to go back and beat Sunny Beach reverse to no avail. That's just one of those courses that are really tough to get a good run on. But game is also top 3 on everything in reverse except for Twilight City reverse, which he has a close call on. He has a 134.898 on Twilight City reverse. But when you go down the line on his reverse timesheet, look at this. First, second, third, fourth, second. And then I think, you know, his weakest overall time is Sunny Beach. It's 7th place, but it's a 103.7. And then he's got third, fifth, 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 fourth, fifth, second. And then, so I mean, he's just super consistent across the board, even on the levels that are really competitive, the most competitive levels. He does quite well on. Drake Lake, 111.5. Port Blue, 118.4. Twilight City, 124.4. Yeah. So, I mean, game, honestly, what I'd like to see from game is more RTA, do races, and then get a world record on forward. Or maybe even multiple world records on forward. Because he can do it. He's obviously shown that when you have that kind of smoothness on Drake Lake reverse, for example, you're going to be able to bring that over to a course on forward and just adapt. So, I mean, game coming all the way up to number 2. He was number 4 last season, but definitely deserving of moving up, and I hope he keeps this up. I feel like he also plays with relatively little effort in comparison to me, so when he plays for like 1 hour, it takes me like 3 hours to do the same thing. He's efficient. Okay. Well, we'll do me this time. So I'll give myself number 1 potentially for the last time. And maybe I'm being pessimistic, but I do sense that everybody's catching up. And there's not a big gap anymore like there used to be. I mean, when you look at the leaderboard today, yeah, just glancing at it, you'd still see, like, okay, I think Shibby Pod's probably number 1, but it's so much scarier now than it was at this time, like last year. The gap is so much smaller, and I didn't realize how much smaller it was until Fish gave me the list to look at with all of the total times on there and everything. Here, I'll open that up and look at it again. So the total times show that I'm like 937 on forward, and second place used to be like 943 like a year ago, and now like 3 other people have a 941. So it's just getting a lot more competitive, and that's just one difficulty. But yeah, definitely been playing a long time. It's been a long time at number 1, so I'm ready to be taken down. And I see like 18 competitors on this list who could put in a lot of effort and give me a run for my money. Yeah, the last 6 months was great. 2018 was really good for the community. I hope that we continue to grow. If you're not happy with your place on this list, then prove me wrong. I am excited to see myself embarrassed by making this list and then having it be totally wrong based on what happens after I've made the list. Nothing would please me more than to see, I don't know, Quick Person suddenly at like number 2 next year, or As Money make it to top 5 because he's pissed I didn't put him in the top 10. That's what I would like to see. So if you're mad, good, because maybe you'll do something about it. Yeah, I know. I can imagine how that looks. All right. Thank you guys for joining the stream tonight. I hope that everybody has a good night. And I'll post the list up on the Discord where it'll hang out for the next 6 months until we replace it with another stream just like this, probably in July. See you guys later.